All right, it's 7:01, and we are going to go ahead and get started. Adam, can you start with the roll call?
Thank you, Chair. Bartola Square North, Alice Madrid. Blackstock North, Nancy Rand. Blackstock South, Christopher Bissonette. Bryce Canyon North, John Hike. Cabrillo, Doug Vartello. Cal Giesler, Elizabeth Garcia. Carriage Square, Len Schulman. Channel Islands, Tom McAnally.
Yo.
Hello, Tom. College Estates, John Beck. Diamond Bar, Dennis Ralph. East Village, Ronald Larejo. El Rio West, Dan Ryberg. 5 Points Northeast, Pat Brown. Here. Fremont North, Dave Ebbett. Here. Fremont South, Jaime Moreno. Hobson Park East, Jack Villa. Here. Hobson Park West, Cecilio Ravello. Hollywood by the Sea, Michelle Carrillo. Kamala Park, Bill Winter. La Colonia, Ramon Lopez. Lemonwood, Joe Avalar. Marina West, Pat Haydett. Orchard Park, Diana Velzy. Here. Oxnard Dunes, Jessica Paredes. Oxnard Shores, Walt Hagedum.
Here.
Pleasant Valley Estates, Rosanna Biggerstaff. Redwood, Carlos Quiros. Here. Rio Lindo, Tim Gingras. River Park, Paul Sheneblin. Here. Rose Park, Alfonso Arroyo. Sea Air, Edward Castillo. Seaview Estates, Scott Taylor. Sierra Linda, Sergio Garcia. South Bank, Debbie Arevalo. South Winds, Julie Pena. Tierra Vista, Jean Paul. Here. Via Marina, Catherine King. Wagon Wheel, Amanda Meir. Here. West Village, Michael Gleason. He's here. Wilson, Gary Blum. And then Windsor North, Vice Chair. Chair, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. We are going to go ahead and move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, if you can all stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we will move on to the approval of the minutes, if you'd like to take a minute to look it over.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, passes. Okay, now we are going to move on to public comments. At the time, a person may address the INCO on matters within the subject matter jurisdiction of the INCO. The INCO cannot enter into a detailed discussion or take action on any item presented during public comments at this time. Such items may only be referred to the Executive Secretary for administrative action or scheduled on a subsequent agenda for discussion. Public comments on items on the agenda will be considered at the time of consideration of the agenda item. Do we have any speakers?
Thank you, Chair and Board. Doug Portello, Cabrillo Neighborhood Chair. I'd just like to speak about the proposal for the Fisherman's Wharf renovation. So that's a county property. They are the lead organization agency there, but we've got stakeholders here with the City of Oxnard and the Coastal Commission, and the residents of Oxnard will be impacted no matter what project they move forward. So at this point, it looks like the county is moving forward with a ERN for the Carl's Strawberry themed amusement park village. That one's kind of been the one that they look like they're really focusing on. And for us as residents of Oxnard, even though it's county that, makes that call, their board of supervisors will make the call on that, we're impacted by it. So I think it'd be important for us to take a look as neighborhood councils, and perhaps particularly on the beach communities where, that's right there at Fisherman's Wharf, at Victoria and Harbor there, they'll be impacted. So there's a lot of concerns and issues moving forward on that. One of my main concerns, I'm up in Cabrillo, but with the Victoria traffic, we've already got issues there, right? And so to get to this amusement park, what they're talking about, possibly 1 million visitors a year, and with parking and traffic, those are concerns. And then with the Teal Club project, that's going to impact traffic along Victoria as well. And then there's other concerns about safety and where it's going to impact Oxnard in terms of safety response. So fire, police, even though that's county property, it's within the city limits of Oxnard. So is that going to be increased safety staffing that we'll have to look at for safety response to that park? And other issues about, is that a fit? To have, we're strawberry capital, right? But is that a fit for that area, at the wharf and the harbor? And there's a lot of resistance for a lot of folks are speaking up against it. There's been surveys where 75% of the Oxnard residents there are opposed to it. But we'd certainly like to have Oxnard residents have an opportunity to speak out, whether they're for it, against it. Maybe they have some ideas to modify it, do different things with it. But that's going to impact us in the long term. And we've had a lot of issues down there, and we're all happy something's happened. Because we had Casa Serena turned into a homeless encampment. Now they're moving forward with a development project for a hotel there. They're finally getting around to Fisherman's Wharf, which has been going down the tubes since the early 90s, right? So that's been a can that's kicked down the road for a long time. We don't want paralysis by analysis, but we do want whatever plan considers all the factors that might need mitigation. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Okay, do we have any other speakers? No? Okay, then we are, oh, go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Michaela Perez. I am a candidate that's running for the 6th District City Council seat. I was born and raised here in the city of Oxnard. And my family has been here for 6 generations. I grew up in the district, went to school in the district, and as a lifelong resident, I will continue to advocate for many of the needs of our community. If elected as the next city councilwoman, my key priorities will include prioritizing but not limited to community health, wellness, and public safety, small businesses, affordable housing, equitable restoration of city services, Oxnard's next generation of youth, including prioritizing labor. I received my bachelor's in psychology and master's of public health from San Francisco State University. And my 10 years of experience has been rooted in advocating for communities, community initiatives, particularly expanding workforce development programs for students. I've supported statewide initiatives, including increasing access to quality jobs and developing broadband policy initiatives to increase digital access, training, and affordability for low-income residents. I, like you, want to continue to have Oxnard to be a flourishing city to live, work, and call home for future generations to thrive. It would be an honor to serve the 6th District residents here in the city of Oxnard. For more information, feel free to reach out to me at my email, michaela4oxnard@gmail.com. To stay updated on campaign activities, you can check out my website at michaela4oxnard.com. Happy holidays, everyone, and thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay, then we are going to move on to item E, new business. Item 1, subject INCO Executive Board. Recommendation that the 2022 INCO Executive Board receive certificates of appreciation and that the 2023 INCO E-Board is sworn into office by Mayor John C. Zaragoza. And I'd like to invite him up.
One word of what you said. Not one word. Couldn't hear anything.
Stand next to you. Let me put. Thank you so much. It's really an honor for me to be here this evening tonight to swear in the new board for the 2023 INC and board. But before I do that, Madam Chair, I have some certificates I'd like to give to the, before I swear in the new board, the outgoing board of 2022. Can I go ahead and do that now?
Yeah.
Thank you. Let me see. Okay, we'll start off with. This is to Ty Hartley. Certificate of Appreciation to Ty Hartley, 2022 Chair. On behalf of the City of Oxnard, thank you for the service to the Inter-Neighborhood Council Organization, INCO Executive Board. Your contribution and dedication have made a significant impact on improving the lives of every resident in our neighborhood here in the City of Oxnard at this time. This is presented on the 14th day of December 2022 by Mayor John C. Zaragoza, and thank you again for all your excellent work. Thank you so much. No photos? Okay. Our next person is Diane Velsey. Diane Velsey, Certificate of Appreciation for the 2022 First Vice Chair. On behalf of the City Council, City of Oxnard, thank you for your service to the Inter-Neighborhood Council Organization, INCO Executive Board. Your contribution and dedication have made a significant impact on improving the lives of every resident here in the City of Oxnard, one neighborhood at a time. Thank you so much on behalf of the City Council and myself. This is dated today. Thank you. Thank you so much. And the next one is Christopher Tacone.
Yeah, but Mayor, he's absent tonight, so I can pass that along.
Pass
to
it on to
Yep,
him? Okay,
yep.
I'm gonna thank you so much. Same thing to him. Thank him for the good work that he's done. Christopher Bissonette. Certificate of Appreciation to Christopher Bissonette, 2022 Third Vice Chair. On behalf of the City of Oxnard, thank you for your service to the Inter-Neighborhood Council, INCO Executive Board. Again, your contribution and dedication have made a significant impact on improving the lives of Oxnard for every single resident in the City of Oxnard. And I want to thank you for all your good work you've done for the community. Thank you so much. Our next one is Jack Villa. Mr. Jack Villa has been with the INCO for what, about 200 years? This is a Certificate of Appreciation, Jack Villa, 2022 Fourth Vice Chair. On behalf of the City of Oxnard, thank you again for your service to the Inter-Neighborhood Council Organization, INCO Executive Board. Your contributions and dedication have made a significant impact on improving the lives of every Oxnard resident, one neighborhood at a time. And I've had the pleasure, I've been with the City Council back again in fact, tomorrow's gonna be starting my third year, can you believe that? Anyway, I've really gone from neighborhood to neighborhood with Jack, and trying to get the neighborhoods back again, and excellent work. Again, thank you so much for your service. Thank you, Jack. And now, this is gonna be the office for the new board members, and that's gonna be, we'll have the line up because we're gonna have a swearing in. So the new board members are gonna be Ty and the rest of the folks. Thank you again for your work. And now you become part of the audience, right? Thank you again, thank you so much. So let me see, for the new swearing in, we can have Diane Velsey. Diane can stand over here. And then we're gonna have First Vice Chair Jack Villa. The second Vice Chair is Amanda Muir. Third vice chair is Christopher again. And fourth vice chair is Sean Magallanes. Sean. And come up to the dais. So let's stand right here next to the flag. Stand over here next to the flag, and I'll swear you in, Jack. Right here. We'll put you over here next to the U.S. flag. So again, raise your right hand and state your names. And repeat after me. Do solemnly affirm that I will bear the true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States. And allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California. That I uphold the principles, the purpose and bylaws of the INCO. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. That I willfully and well discharge the duties upon that I'm about to enter. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. Jack, thank you. Again, thank you so much. As a mayor of Oxnard, it's an honor to be here today. And I just want to share that the INCO has done really, really good work for the community. And as mentioned before, you've done that work that really has helped with the city council with your recommendations and again, helping the community be the best community in the whole state of California. Thank you so much again on behalf of the city council. Thank you. So we do have, you go ahead and hand it out of it eventually. You can go ahead and do we sign that now? Yeah, or we can do it after the meeting. We can do it after. Thank you again on behalf of the city council and myself. Let's do it now. Let's. Diana. Jack. Amanda. Here we go. Just sign them and turn them in, and then you're official. Thank you so much. So who's going to be the chair? Oh, you're going to pick the chair now, right? Diane, you're the chair? Congratulations.
I don't take over till January, so time is still.
Oh, time. I'm sorry. And I'm trying to run you out. I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No. I can't, I think the COVID, they did away with all previous. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mayor Zaragoza. Now, we are going to move on to item number 2, subject, INCO, general membership meeting start time. Recommendation that the INCO general membership discuss and vote on a change to the general membership meeting start time. Okay, so we are thinking about moving the meeting start time from 7 o'clock to 6 p.m. So would anybody like to start off the discussion with their preference?
I'll start it off. This has come up before to change the start times at 6 o'clock. And I know there was a few chairs that are interested in making it more convenient for them. And I'm all for making it convenient for the chairs. I think I'm going to support 6 o'clock, but actually I'll make it here whatever time most of the chairs decide. So in my opinion, 6 o'clock is fine with me. 7 o'clock is fine too, but I think we should give it a try to come here and start at 6. I think that's the least we could do is just try to accommodate more chairs. And if it doesn't work, we can always go back to 7 o'clock. There's nothing, I mean, if in the middle of the year, we see that there's very little people showing up, we can vote, put it on, and come to the INCO and maybe possibly changing it again. But then again, that, I understand that 7 o'clock is better for others, and we're all volunteers, and I just hope and trying to work to make things best for everybody. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Jack.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
No, go. Yes, you're good.
Hi, everyone. Amanda Meir. I am very supportive of moving it to 6 o'clock. I think it would allow for a greater participation of individuals. Having it later does impede on family time, and sometimes it is a little bit more difficult for individuals to come later in the evening, especially during the winter time where it's extremely dark at 4:30 in the afternoon. And so I think that moving it to 6 would even increase our participation because it would be before the lateness, especially when it comes to if you have children's bedtimes or school times. So I'm very supportive of 6 o'clock, as well as I like to be home before 9:30. And so I think that anything we can do to increase participation and have a better accessibility towards our meetings would be beneficial for all of INCO. Thank you.
Carlos Quiroz, Redwood. I support starting at 6 o'clock due to the fact also that we have city employees that come sometimes as presenters in here, and we don't want them waiting an hour after they get off work. So I think we should take that in consideration. But for that, I support starting 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other feedback? Okay, then we want to go ahead and take a vote on whether or not we will start at 6 p.m.
Do we have a motion?
Motion? For 6, to start at 6 p.m., right?
Second, Mayor?
Okay, all in favor to start at 6 p.m.? 6 p.m.? We have. You got the count? Oh. Huh? Okay, and people online?
People online.
Tom, are you a yes? You're muted.
My apologies. I didn't know how to vote remotely. You didn't say how to do that. So I was saying, yes, I'm in favor.
Okay, thank you. Chair, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we are going to move on to item 3, subject, Oxnard Performing Arts Center. Recommendation that the INCO general membership receive a report from Carolyn Mullen, Executive Director of the Oxnard Performing Arts Center.
Okay, good evening. Adam, do you have the presentation?
Yes, production office, can you bring up the presentation, please?
Well, good evening, everyone. I usually work really good in front of an audience, so this is weird.
being backwards. But I am so grateful for this opportunity. It's been a lot of change in a very short amount of time for us at the Performing Arts Center. I work for the nonprofit, the Oxnard Performing Arts Center Corporation. We did a DBA a few years ago, so we're going by the name OPAC, a little easier. The reason why I wanted to come is I probably at least once or twice a week I meet someone who thinks the center is closed, that the building's been sold, which it hasn't. It is still an asset belonging to the city of Oxnard. Or we have a lot of new residents in town who don't even know that the facility exists. So this is one thing that I want to do is extend the opportunity. I really do work really well in front of an audience. Is extend the invitation for me to come out to your neighborhood organizations and present an update on the Performing Arts Center. Next slide. Am I allowed to do that? Oh, I get a clicker. Okay. The bottom button or the big one? Okay. So one of the things I wanted to highlight, so in addition to being the executive director for the nonprofit, the OPAC nonprofit, I'm also the board chair for the Ventura County Arts Council, and I'm a resident of Ventura, don't hold it against me, but I am on their arts commission. So I think it's been really helpful to get a perspective of, how the arts are operating in different parts of the county and also countywide. And one of the things I recently learned in the last couple of years, I know this is like a mouthful and you don't even have to pay attention to what's on the screen, but there is something called data arts, and they rank the arts vibrancy in the United States. And Oxnard, Thousand Oaks, and Ventura as a metro area, we were ranked in the top 10 for mid-sized communities in terms of our arts vibrancy. That's out of 947 communities. Pretty frickin' impressive, right? Yeah. But the thing is, it's a struggle to make the arts succeed here. I mean, not just in Oxnard, but throughout the county. So I know the Carnegie Art Museum has been closed for some time. Obviously, the PAC has gone through a number of challenges. But even in Ventura, Art City, the studios, the Masons, their facility closed. There was an art museum in Thousand Oaks that closed earlier this year. So, I mean, we're really seeing, I think, a struggle for sustainability and infrastructure for the arts. Oh, but in addition to that, I have another really great data point I wanted to share with you. The county and the Ventura County Community Foundation, along with the Economic Development Collaborative, did a study in 2008. They revisited it 20 years later and just released that information not too long ago. But it showed that the creative sector in our county supports 21,000 jobs and generates $2.1 billion in economic activity. That's just behind agriculture. So, I think having these cultural assets in our community is incredibly important when we're thinking about revitalization or just, ensuring that people in our community have access to vibrant arts and activities and a place for our artists to call home. So in front of you is a picture from 1968, an original newsletter. Also on the screen is a picture of Mayor Bill Suhu and Cleo Labont. She was the pioneering lady who championed the fundraising effort to build the PAC. And the Performing Arts Center really does have a thread of strong female leadership. If you've ever paid attention to the statue in the middle of the courtyard, that was constructed by an artist out of Ojai named Eugenia Everett. Her work is in the Smithsonian. So, I mean, just again, recognizing these incredible legacies that we have. And the facility itself dates back, obviously, to 1968, but it's considered an incredible example of mid-century modern architecture. The architect did the Hawaii Convention Center, the Las Vegas Convention Center. The Las Vegas one no longer is around. So this really is truly a gem and the last of its kind. So who are we? The OPAC nonprofit. We just did our new slogan. We're going through a rebranding and a new mission and vision statement, which will come out in January. But our new slogan, I love it. This is our community, our culture, our center. We really want to be an incubator for innovation and creativity. You like that? Was that a clap? I'll just take it as a clap. It's good, I know. So we're an incubator for innovation and creativity, a cultural anchor and for placemaking and gathering. And we are uniquely by, for, and of Oxnard. So everything we do is driven by Oxnard residents. It's for Oxnard residents and it's of Oxnard residents. So all of our educators, they're of Oxnard. It's benefiting the kids of Oxnard. and we really want you to get involved. So, pre-COVID, these are all pre-COVID numbers, we would do about 1,500 events a year. Like, that's a lot of events for about 350,000 people. That's certainly more than Oxnard. I mean, we're really a regional facility serving the needs of Western Ventura County. We would get an incredible number of rentals, 175 different nonprofits and corporate organizations using the facility. We would do field trips for schools, would have about 3,500 kids a year. So this is the old mission and vision, but I loved these values, viability, creativity, altruism. Everything that this nonprofit is doing really is in the service of this community. So if you recall, I want to do a little history lesson for those of you who do or do not know much about the performing arts. So it was built in 1968, operated by the city. The OPAC nonprofit was established in 1998. I think as a cost-saving measure, it's just cheaper to have people affiliated with a nonprofit than through the city. So we had about 60 employees on staff with the nonprofit, and this was a joint operating program between the city and the OPAC nonprofit. So the management team were all city employees, and the bulk of the employees were through the nonprofit. So it was a co-management model. And this ran through 2019, and then most of you will probably recall that there were some very tough budget cuts with the city of Oxnard, and the PAC was slated for closure. So we've gone through a lot of change in a very short amount of time, and part of that was some really creative solution thinking on part of the city, but I think a lot of players. And the Canyon was an institution brought to the forefront by one of our then board members, Manny Herrera, with Citizens for a Better Oxnard. The Canyon, if you don't know, is a family-owned Ventura County-based live entertainment company, and they have a number of venues throughout Southern California. They do the summer concert series at the Libby Bowl. Their headquarters is in Agora, but they also have the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills. And they came in March of 2020 as the main operator of the venue. And there's 2 5-year agreements, one for the theater and one for the community center. And I feel so bad because 2 weeks later, COVID shut the theater down. They didn't even have a chance to do their first concert. So I think it's been, just a rough couple of years, especially in the performing arts, which was one of the most impacted industries due to COVID. So we're excited. They have a very strong concert lineup coming up in 2023, and they are doing a concert season unveiling party, which is open to the public. It'll be January 12th, starting at 5:30 p.m. The OPAC team will be there to provide tours of the community center. We want to show you some of the renovations that we've done. We have invested over $100,000 in improvements to the venue. That includes new lighting, a new bridal room, new sound equipment, and some other things. So we'd love to have you there. So what have we been doing during COVID? Well, we were activated as the first COVID testing center in the entire county. We are still open daily for COVID testing should you require a test. We also went into emergency food distribution, did blood drives and you name it. We partnered up with SEIU to do mask giveaways to homebound healthcare workers. So that work has not stopped. We also got very creative and got some grant funding, and this funding helped keep our staff in place, but it also helped us commission and support local artists. So that included graphic designers, printmakers, videographers. So we've been busy. And then during the pandemic, we also launched our first artist in residency program that addressed teen Latina mental health. Teen Latinas have some of the highest rates of suicide amongst their peers. And so this was a year-long program. We paid Arcelia Martinez, a local filmmaker, to create a documentary about the teen Latina mental health crisis in Oxnard, but also provided free monthly activities for teens, all by Zoom, obviously during the pandemic, but really incredible work. So we're excited about that. And then just in the last year, we've been really active. We've started doing family art nights once a month. We've been doing concerts, everything from trunk or treats to Dia de los Muertos, participating in the Christmas parade. We'll talk a little bit more about some of these other things. I I pulled from a bunch of different presentations. But one of the things I think I'm most proud of is that we're making the center more inclusive. We really want the community to feel like this is their performing arts center and that it's not just a performing arts center. If you go to the venue, it still says community center on the exterior of the building. And I really want to take that to heart. I mean, we are more than anything here for the community. So being an LGBTQ ally, I think, is incredibly important. For the last couple of years, we've held Pride Prom, we've done Trans Day of Remembrance, we have a mentorship program for queer youth, and that's all done with partners in the community. But to make this venue feel accessible, warm, and welcoming, I think is really, really important. Something else that we launched during the pandemic was a teen art program. So we got some seed funding. With the closure of the Carnegie, I felt a tremendous pressure to rise to that occasion, right? Where else do you go for the arts in Oxnard? You know, if you're a parent whose kid loves art, you either had to take them to Ventura to Vita Art Center or Camarillo to Studio Channel Islands if transportation's an issue, right? We want to make the arts as accessible as possible. So all of OPAC's programming is free and open to kids. The Teen Art program is incredible. We have just an amazing team of artists in everything from clay and sculpture work to printmaking to drawing and painting. So please check that out if you know of any young people who really need a cool outlet. We also launched a children's art program. So that started this fall. We got some CDBG funding from the city of Oxnard, so thank you very much for that. And we do those classes twice a week for different ages. And then again, we have a family art night, which I mentioned before, but super, super fun. And it's a great way for families and, you know, as big as you want to come and just spend quality time together. And those are Friday nights. It's high quality material. We provide things like watercolor pencils. Like where else are you gonna find some of this really cool stuff? So yeah. Anyways, I'll just fast forward. Another thing that we launched this year was this Insight and Sound series. Jose Cano, I don't know if you know him, but he's part of a band called Las Cafeteras. They just played for Mayor, the new LA mayor, and her debut thing. Okay, Karen Bass, thank you very much. Anyways, Jose is from Oxnard, and he travels the country and is known in the performing arts world. But, you know, we both have been talking, and he joined our honorary board. And just like, what can we do for youth? And we felt like creating this career professional development series for young musicians would be helpful. And so he's brought all of his industry contacts to Oxnard to be open. It's part storytelling, also part lessons learned from the road. So Ozo Motley, if you know Chicano Batman, some of those band members have come to meet with our kiddos and talk about, you know, just their experiences, which has been incredible. So. Another thing we launched, again, going back to the importance of ensuring that the visual arts are a part of our community, is a new art gallery at the Mexican consulate. The Mexican consulate welcomes 400 people a day. I mean, that's like 400,000 patrons a year. My math is off on that, but you know what I mean. It's a lot. It's worth investing in the Mexican consulate, and the current consulate, who is great, just opened up the space, and we have done a few shows there. So if you have time and want to check it out, they're open, I think, about 8:30 to 4:30 daily from Monday through Friday. And then I really want the center to also align with the city's priorities, and homelessness is certainly one of those priorities. And I think the arts are an incredibly powerful way to kind of make this conversation accessible and bring different perspectives to light. So we got a grant from California Humanities to do a 2-year program called Close to Home, and it was spotlighting the people, perspectives, and places around homelessness. So this was a mix of storytelling. We did an actual night of storytelling where we worked with homeless individuals and trained them on how to do storytelling, and they did that live at the PAC. We've done video narratives. We also did a utility box. So during the pandemic, and it was crazy, what should have been a 6-week program took us 6 months to do because the houses kept getting, bouts of COVID that would shut these kids in their foster homes, which is really challenging for them mentally. So having a photography program, we would take them out on field trips. We went to the beach, we went to Studio Channel Islands, just different places. So their photography got put on a utility box, which is now on 4th Street and Meta. So check it out. I love that. The Performing Arts Center can also contribute to the public art and the visibility in our community. Another thing I'm incredibly proud of is we're supporting our local music scene. We have so many young kiddos who love to play music but have no place to play, much less an all ages venue that's safe and welcoming that parents feel comfortable dropping them off at. So we've been doing shows for, as few as like 50 kids to, 900. So yeah, just a few of the ones that we did. We did our first all music festival called Los Fest, and I'm hoping we can bring that back again this 2023. We did some public art thanks in partnership to our Hobson Park East Neighborhood Council along the fence line between Hobson Park and the PAC. We had Christine Morla, the chair of the Visual Arts Department at Oxnard College, lead this community engagement program. So we invited the community to come out, and we called it a fence-stillation, but just weaving different materials on our fence line. So if you haven't checked it out, please come out. I know it inspired Nyland Acres to do something similar. I think Vita Art Center is going to have her come out and do something too. So easy, cost-effective ways that we can beautify our community. Yeah, I don't know. And if you're back there, you'll also see this mural that our teens did as part of our teen art program. And yeah, we've been growing a lot. We created an honorary board of directors. Anderson Pack is the chair of that board. Jose Cano, who I mentioned, Cola Boy, Don Lombardi, who founded DW Drums, Carmen Ramirez. Oh, this has been a tough year. Yeah, and then some faces from the PAC. So our staff, some of our educators, our board of directors, we're really excited about the growth and the changes at the organization. And some of the artisan organizations that we've worked with over the years, or just last year. So things coming up in 2023. I wanted to invite you all to our Native Plant Fest, which is on January 21st. The pandemic made people super into plants, and I have to say last year it was a huge success. So we're gonna do that plant festival again, January 21st. We're gonna do our animal welfare event called Rescue Con. It's super fun. We do everything from bunny yoga to cat cafes to animal adoptions. So I welcome you to come out. That'll be in February. We're again going to do our Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Celebration in May. Trunk or treat, Dia de los Muertos is always a good time. And then I wanted to talk briefly about some of the upcoming programs. So, when we lost our city subsidy from the city of Oxnard in 2019, right? We used to get $1.2 million a year. We had to figure out how the heck we're going to be sustainable, which meant we had to go into fundraising mode. No one ever fundraised for the PAC. No one ever felt like they had to because you had that city subsidy. So in the last couple of years, we've brought in close to $1.5 million, and all of that is generally to go into these free programs. So in 2023, we're launching an audio engineering program for youth so they can learn the ins and outs of putting on their own concerts. I'm very excited about that. We got a grant from the California Arts Council to do arts exposure. So we're going to be bringing in touring performing artists for free into the schools so kids can have access to the performing arts. We also got another grant from the California Arts Council to do artists in schools, which is tying back into the visual arts. So what I learned in talking to 9th Street educators, or 9th grade, I'm sorry, it's late. I agree, you should move your meetings to 6 o'clock. So artists in schools, when kids get into 9th grade, they will not have had an art class since 4th grade. So if we can get actual living, working artists from our community into the schools, we feel like, they'll really resonate with that and have some great role models. So I'm excited about that. We have a DJ program with DJ Honey. So if you know of any young people who want to learn how to DJ, we welcome them to participate. The idea is they will incorporate the city's sounds and their culture into their craft, and they'll end up playing at OPAC events or out in the community. So it's a great program. And then we've started offering senior classes. So if anyone likes Tai Chi or anything like that, we have those coming up again in 2023. So I will say what's coming up next. The Canyon, who has the 5-year management agreement for the PAC, that agreement comes due March 2025. So our nonprofit is looking towards that date, and what do we need to do and in order to be prepared for that. And I think we have some big conversations to have. The facility is obviously dated. It needs a lot of love and renovation. The seismic study has been done for the complex. The first part of it has come back positive. We're still waiting to get the full report, but that's really encouraging. So there's just a lot to do. And we have a fun video we can play. Does it work? Okay.
Production, can you bring up the video, please?
And I'm sorry if I went over time, but we have a lot to say, and I can't wait to meet with your neighborhood. I went to Pleasant Valley Estates not too long ago, and that was great. And I'll bring free tickets for events and stuff, so, yeah.
I have a question.
Pat. 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 Pat.
those dates, times,
Yeah.
and beginning lowest seat, price seats, and the highest price seats, and the place to go to get the tickets.
Yeah, so the Performing Arts Center, we love email. We love our website. We love Instagram and social media. Those are probably the best ways we communicate. I'm here just speaking for the nonprofit. Obviously, we don't run the theater anymore. That's the Canyon. So the Canyon has their own marketing tactics on how they cross-promote those events. But definitely look us up. I know my staff puts everything in, online event calendars, so the VC Reporter, things like that. You'll see those events there. And I will leave these. These are flyers on how you can get in touch with us in case you do want someone to come and speak to your neighborhood council from OPAC. And I don't know if we're allowed to field questions, but I'm happy to do that. And thank you so much for the opportunity again.
I'd like to just ask one quick question. Is this promoted at the school level, as in posters and flyers and, during community meetings and so forth?
Yeah, I have to say we can do so much more. We do a lot of press releases. We are pretty good about getting media coverage and, the cover of the VC Star, KCLU, I mean, that sort of thing. With the arts programming, we do send that out to arts, educators in the community. But we can do better. Yeah, yeah. That's a good idea.
Okay, Carlos,
Yeah.
So how do I get, how,
Pat,
Pat, do you want to
Pat.
come? Pat, do you want to come to the mic and ask your question?
Carlos Quiroz, Redwood. It's nice to have that presentation out there. It looks pretty good. The only thing is that I'm not concerned, but the aspect of the parking lot, it's pretty bad out
The
there.
asphalt?
And is there any improvements that are going to be done in the future? Have we talked to the city manager about that, or do we have to volunteer to get on our hands and knees, paint those stripes for parking lot,
You're welcome to come be on your hands and knees
Well,
and paint
you know,
stripes
I've
on our
done-
parking lot.
I've done some cleanup out there, but I think just the brushes and all that, that's a little bit of the work that needs to be done. But I think
Yeah.
mostly the aspect of going in there and looking at that place
Mhm.
doesn't look too good. So is there any way maybe we could volunteer, get the city manager out there, maybe get some paint or do something about that, or
I would love that. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, one of the conversations that we're having right now is the number of studies that need to happen. So our board is advocating that there needs to be a facility needs assessment for the complex, right? We need to know exactly what's wrong and how much it's going to cost to fix it and modernize. So that's the starting point. We just don't even have that information, and that definitely has to be a partnership between, all the stakeholders, the Canyon, OPAC, and the city, because it's their property and their asset.
well, I'm willing to help out. Like I'm pretty sure Jack would be involved in there. And the thing is the aspect. Somebody else looking at that place. It's have great things happening out there. So maybe later on in life. I mean, I know the city has all these things coming up with all these great ideas. Doesn't cut it. Ideas last years. We need action. We don't need ideas.
Right. And I mean, this is an incredible gem. So we did bring out recently the #1 theater consultant in the western part of the United States. His name is Adam Shalik, and he said, no city will ever build this again. It's cost prohibitive. Everything is about economy, and just to do the theater alone would cost over $100 million. So you have it, and it would be nice to just ensure that it's brought up to speed.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I'm going to see you in the parking lot so we can paint some stripes.
Yeah, I remember 15, 20 years ago, used to attend a lot of the performances there. And they put out a list that I could go to the outdoor window, and they put out a list of all of the events that were coming. And then there was a map of the seating and so forth, so you could pick your seats and different price ranges and whatnot. And I would get one of these every month, and I would print it in the news magazine that I put together, 20 pages each month, and I would put it in there, okay, for each month of what was happening. And if there was an extra, if they had some stuff for the following month already, well, then we put that in there as well, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have internet, so I am out in left field, and there is no way I'm going to get anything, as far as I know, the way it is now. Is there any way that I can communicate with them, that I can go and buy tickets for events and have a listing of the
Mm-hmm.
of the events every month?
Yeah, so the Canyon doesn't hold traditional office hours from what I understand, but they do have a great calendar that they print in the VC Reporter, and they do make that available, so you can go into their offices and they will give that to you. And my staff keeps the old box office open Monday through Friday, usually 12 to 4, so we're there to answer questions. They'd be happy to print anything out for you.
So where do I go to? I go to the inside office, the doors that are on the right as you're walking up, or do I go to the booth thing out there with the window, knock on the window to get this information? How do I do it?
So for concerts, you have to go into that theater, the inside office, and then anything regarding the nonprofit, the kids programming, that sort of thing is through what I call the old box office. Yeah, the little kiosk outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a way.
There is a way.
Okay, thank you.
I promise there's a way.
Hi, Doug Portello, Cabrillo Neighborhood Council. Thank you for all the great work that you're doing. We really appreciate it, and I know it's been a big challenge. I know that there's been issues with the roof and the parking lot. And I know it's been put on the queue in terms of getting some of those things budgeted and done, but we know how it works with capital improvement projects that, it's on the queue, but we don't know where that, do you have any information to share on the roof and the parking lot? I know that the city of Oxnard is committed to at least having it on that list of things to do, right?
Yes, that roof has been on the CIP project since I started, which was about 5 years ago. So there's two roofs, right? There's the one over the theater, which has the exposed marine grade layer wood. That has been exposed for the last 2 years. The side paneling came off in a windstorm in, I think, January of last year. I do not have an update on that, and I don't know if that's even on a list somewhere. Okay. I'm not sure. But the Oxnard and Ventura rooms, so those are the community rooms, yeah, that roof is slated to get done this fiscal year. It did go out to bid, and it sounds like they had to redo the bid process for whatever reason. So I'm fingers crossed that we will have a new roof over the community rooms this fiscal year.
Thank you. Also, there's been some of these utility boxes and things that have been, decorated rather colorfully, and there's been some mural projects. Has that been any part of the work that you all been doing there at OPAC, or?
No, that's been part of those big changes. So when we went through the separation with the city in 2019, all of our management team were let go or assigned elsewhere. So the Arts and Public Places program used to be housed at the Performing Arts Center. That is now housed with Recreation, and the Arts Commission. So you would need to go through them for that.
Okay. Would that be something that could be a possible interest? Because I've got a retaining wall in my neighborhood that we'd like to see a mural get put up over there. Could have a nautical theme, could have a strawberry field theme, and work with maybe some students or local artists to do something there. Because I renovated the public space landscaping there. So it's actually went from Sleepy Hollow to actually looking nice. But we've got some bare walls where there used to be ivy. They used to protect against the graffiti. And now we've got kind of a palette there that we might be able to use. So, perhaps that could be something of interest. And I do a lot of work with the homeless. And I've known some homeless that are just tremendous artists. So I know you did like storytelling, that's powerful, but maybe getting some of their artistic skills involved in doing something. So it's just an idea.
Oh, I think that's a great idea. I think a starting point is talking to the Arts Commission or Julia Strada with Recreation, because that is under her purview right now. But in theory, there should be money for murals through the Arts and Public Places Fund. I don't know where they're at. I know the arts, I try to stay in tune with what's happening. So, I participate in the meetings or I watch them, but it sounds like they were redoing the guidelines for the Arts and Public Places program. So hopefully at some point in 2023, that announcement will be made, but it'd be awesome to see those projects benefit your local communities. Why not? And if there's a way to tie into the Performing Arts Center and our teen programs or what have you, or if you're looking for a muralist, I would love to have that conversation.
Okay, great. And we'd like to invite you to put on the agenda for one of our neighborhood council meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Jean-Paul Magallanes, Tierra Vista Neighborhood Council. Question I have is, do you guys work with Ocean View School District?
Not that closely. Again, we have gone through a lot of growth in a short amount of time. So before I came to the Performing Arts Center, there were no youth programs. Like, we didn't do classes, we rarely did field trips. So this is very new territory for us. In a lot of ways, we're becoming the Performing Arts Center we should have always been, but we're doing massive catch up, like over 50 years worth of catching up. Creating relationships with the school districts is of high importance for us. And with some of the grants that we have coming through, I think we can create some great outreach opportunities. But did you have something in mind with Ocean View in particular?
Yeah, because Ocean View, the kids over there, they have no park to play, have nothing over there, basically just the houses, and just trying to get, because there's a lot of artistic kids, artistic kids that like to paint, and they like to do other things, and I think it would be beneficial for you guys to work with the Ocean View School District.
Yeah, certainly. I'm happy to reach out. We have some educators on the board. Carol Flores-Beck was the Driffle principal for quite some time, so she's on the OPAC board, and the retired superintendent for OUSHD. Gary Davis is also on our board, so we're trying to make inroads with schools. But all of those programs, like I said, that we do offer are free. I mean, they're after school or on the weekends, but parents are welcome to take advantage of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments or questions? Oh.
Yes. Carolyn, thank you for the presentation. It was wonderful. And I see Carolyn at least a couple of times a week, or her staff, because it's right in our neighborhood. And I think I've come to the membership here in the INCO talking about how I want the PAC to succeed. And if that PAC succeeds, our neighborhood will succeed. And we, like Carlos, and we've had other chairs come out to help clean up around the PAC. And Carlos, yes, I do have a job for you at the PAC. If you, in fact, Monday I was going to go out and help paint the curves out there in the parking lot, but it was raining, so it saved my back. So. But I want to thank you for all the work you and your staff are doing. The programs, I've seen quite a few programs, and it reminds me when I was young, going to the community center. That's what it was called back then. And I remember I was like 8, 9 years old, and they had classes for clay and basket weaving and square dancing and just all these classes that were available to the youth. And it was like Central Station back there when I was growing up. And I grew up in that neighborhood as well. So I'm happy that the OPAC is starting to come back and doing good work. And I think it's a gem for the city to have that facility there. It's a smack dab in the middle of the city, and I encourage the public to come in and take advantage of it. It's really good. And thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you all very much.
Oh, hold on just a moment. We have one person.
Okay.
Oh.
Hello. I'm Walter Hagen. I'm chair of the Oxnard Shores Neighborhood Council. I was wondering, on your meeting rooms, do you ever rent those out to organizations for meetings, or have office space that you rent out?
We don't rent out office space, but we do rent out the space. So, for example, Hobson Park East and West have teamed up, and you're using the PAC right now for your meetings. Yeah, who doesn't use the PAC? Like, let's be honest. We have church groups on Sundays, and different promoters, soccer clubs, civic organizations. The MLK event is happening in January. So yes, please, the PAC is open for, I didn't talk about that, and my staff would probably be very upset that I didn't talk about our rental program, but that's half of what we do. I'm just very much a programming person, and I love youth programs. But yeah, we do a lot of events. Every day of the week we have something going on. So please, You can reach out to us. Jose, our rental coordinator, you can reach him at rentals@oxnardperformingarts.com. All the spec sheets are on our website at oxnardperformingarts.com. The phone number is 805-385-8147. And all this information is obviously easily accessible on our website.
Thank you.
No, thank you. That was a great plug for renting the pack.
All right, thank you.
Yes, weddings and quinceañeras every Saturday night, 100%, yeah.
Okay, any other questions, comments? No?
Nope.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we are going to move on to the neighborhood chair reports. Neighborhood chairs may individually report on items of interest or concern to their neighborhood. The INCO cannot enter into a detailed discussion or take any action on any items presented during these reports.
I'll start off.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Jack Villa, Hobson Park East, and I just want to announce that we're finally getting new restrooms. The new restrooms and the new playground probably will be starting to be put in about 3 or 4 months, and new lighting as well. So we're looking forward to that and bringing back that park, Lions Park, back to where it was before. That's all I have.
Yes, John Hike, Bryce County North. We had a neighborhood trash collection on November 5th, and I didn't get a report from Rebecca Guevara about the haul, but the supervisor said they loaded up about 8 containers, so those large truck containers of stuff. And one of the casualties was the sign for traffic control. That's another story. I have a picture if you want to see it. And one metric I have is when I first started this, like 2018, we next door there were about 135 participants in the next door neighborhood thing, and the latest look at it was 425, and that's out of about 1,045 households according to them. So, I mean that's a potential for communications. And if you're on another subject, if you're really interested in Oxnard, Google 1961 Oxnard video, and there's an hour-and-a-half movie from 1961. So sort of like a home movie. It's kind of interesting.
Good evening, Ronald Arwejo, East Village Neighborhood Council. I just wanted to say that we had our largest ever meeting of about 35 people last month. I think some of it had to do with the food that we were able to bring and snacks, so thank you to the city of Oxnard for allowing that. We will definitely be promoting that in our next meeting next month at the end of January. At the meeting, we had Dr. Terry Leon, the principal at Doso High School, the assistant superintendent, Ted Lawrence, and also Councilman Madrigal. So we appreciate all their time in coming there, and we're hopeful to get the city manager and or mayor at our next meeting in January. Thank you very much.
Jean Paul Magallanes, Tierra Vista Neighborhood Council. Our last meeting was double in size. We had 21 people show up. We had all of our street signs replaced in our neighborhood. We also had an illegal dumping that the city came out and we had it removed. And I was also able to help College States get their park lights fixed for them.
Good evening. For the folks here in the INCO that I haven't met yet, I'm Paul Schnabelin. I'm the acting neighborhood council chair for River Park. It's kind of strange getting up here, but this is actually the first in-person meeting we had a chance to attend for the INCO, and I'm glad to be here. We had a successful community cleanup event back last month. Good attendance by the folks in the neighborhood and the adjoining neighborhoods of River Park. We're looking forward to holding an election to replace our council chair on January 19th. So I'd like to invite the folks from the community to come out and be a part of that process, and we look forward to seeing you folks here at the meetings and the folks in the community at the meetings that are coming up.
Okay, we have one online.
Hi there, Tom McAnally. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to announce at the Channel Islands Neighborhood Council, we were able to do our first testing in over a year. We did it last Monday. We did wet weather testing. As you notice, we had some rain. And that always provides interesting results when we go out in the harbor and we sample the water, because we're trying to find out, since the power plant shut down, how can we improve the water? Because we don't get the circulation we have anymore. We have algae growth. I won't go into the details of that. But anyway, I wanted to let you know we were able to get some ARPA funding. So the city is paying for the testing. We do the collection. We work with the city and get it sent off to the labs. We did 10 sites, 100 sample bottles in total. And the lab work's underway. We'll have results posted on the website. We have both the city website and the SYNC website, and we're just renovating the SYNC website. The results will be posted there. Summary results, not in heavy detail. Lastly, our next public meeting is January 19th, and we'll be doing our 2023 board elections. Thank you very much.
Hi, Doug Portello, Cabrillo Neighborhood Chair again. We had our last meeting on December 8th, and we kept it pretty low key because of the holidays. So the main agenda item was again about our Quimby funds reserved for our Cabrillo Park. So we're moving forward on some ideas on where we can use our Quimby funds. We have 144,000, which seems like a lot, but it's really not that much. So we had some great ideas that were shared. We're in the calendar for the CIP projects not to begin until 2024. So we've got a full year to kind of really get our community outreach done and narrow it down. And we can give those funds, but I found out that they can only be given to a neighboring neighborhood. We were thinking about Tierra Vista because they don't even have a park. So, but we can't give it to Tierra Vista. It has to be a neighboring park. So that would be Fremont North, Fremont South. I think some of the other neighboring neighborhoods are okay. So those might be two. And there were neighbors that came forward thinking, you know, that might be the way we could go. So if they have tremendous needs that they've identified, our park is a passive use park. So it's basically grass and trees. And most of the people there like it that way. We don't want a lot of amenities. And we had our beat coordinator officer come forward. Unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of crime. We're a pretty low crime neighborhood. But one of the things that's happening, particularly in December, is a lot of porch pirates. So there's a lot of good information shared about the porch pirating and how to combat that. So Oxnard PD has a good resource available. They have a news release about that that's real helpful to folks because unfortunately we get a lot of that activity going on. Our next meeting is going to be the second Thursday of February, and we're going to talk about barking dogs. So that's been a big problem in our neighborhood. And the other issue is code compliance. So we've had them come back a number of times. So there's a lot of businesses now, like with COVID, and they're doing their businesses at home. And it's kind of disrupting some of the peace and quiet in our neighborhood. There's been parking issues for a lot of work trucks, trailers, all these other things, you know, cars parked at blocking wheelchair accessibility, blocking out into the street. So we're going to have code compliance. We have a new code compliance manager, so we can invite him to come. So that's a good topic, and thank you. Hope everybody has a great holiday.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody else? Oh,
Blackstock South, January 12th, we'll be having our next meeting. We're going to be discussing the neighborhood cleanup, trying to invite Blackstock North to this meeting as well, because they're really on the low side as well. And also, Santa Claus is coming this Friday to Blackstock South with Mrs. Claus.
Yeah. Okay, Diana Velzy, Orchard Park neighborhood. And this year, our cleanup was on November 19th. And We had 151 residents in attendance. Most of those residents heard from the flyers and/or the street signs we put up. We hauled away 15.82 tons or 13 loads of trash bins. So that was a pretty good turnout, especially since we've been down since COVID, right? And then December 16th, Santa float's coming to our park, and as well as other neighborhoods as well. But and that's between the hours of 4:30 and 8:30. And December 17th, we'll be having our neighborhood will be having a winter celebration where we'll have some cookie swaps, and we're gonna. One of our neighbors is quite an artist, and has been collecting all these pine cones, and we're gonna be having the kids make pine cones, decorate their own pine cones. So that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be this weekend at 11 a.m. And I think that is it. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, then we are going to go ahead and move on to the executive board reports. The executive board may individually report on items of interest or concern. The INCO cannot enter into a detailed discussion or take action on any item presented during these reports.
I get a report?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go first. I want to thank Samantha for giving me some of this information. I talked to her earlier, and she was giving me the numbers for the year as far as meetings and new executive boards. And so our total meetings for the year 22, we had 108 total meetings of neighborhood meetings. And for comparison, the COVID year, 21, there was only 44, and I believe most of those were online. And another comparison, pre-COVID 2019, we had 114. So we're back to where we were pre-COVID as far as neighborhood meetings. And I remember, I think it was 2018, we had as many as 140 meetings. And so I think we can have quite a few more meetings once everybody gets involved. And I know there's some neighborhoods that haven't had meetings. And so Samantha gave me totals that 62% of the neighborhoods were having meetings right after the lifting of the COVID restrictions. So 62% is pretty good, and we only, I believe, when was it lifted? I think in March or May, April? Yeah, I believe in April the restrictions were lifted so that we could meet in person. So that's pretty good. We've had reactivated 7 new neighborhood councils. Bartolo Square South, Tierra Vista, Wagon Wheel, Blackstock South, Cal Giesler had an election, and Pleasant Valley States had an election, but they elected the same chair. South Bank has a new chair as well. And then also Bryce Canyon South, we came within 1 resident. They only had 10, and so we could have had another neighborhood there. And I want to thank John from Bryce Canyon. He organized that. So we just missed that. So maybe when we try again at the first of the year, we'll have another one. Let's see. Okay, I was gonna give you the numbers as far as from the ER, as far as the neighborhood cleanups, and I haven't gotten that report yet. I got the report for my neighborhood, but not the others and combined to see where we're at as a whole in gathering trash. And so I believe I should have that by next month's meeting. And as far as my neighborhood, we collected more trash than we did pre-COVID, so that was good. I believe it was 10 or 11 containers filled, and so that was pretty good. Also, this coming year, we're going to start up again in activating new councils. I believe College Estates, Terrace Estates, no, Terrace, now I forgot. Over by Williams School, help me, help me. What's the name of that neighborhood? But anyways, we have a few more neighborhoods we're gonna try. Pleasant Valley, not Village, but Estates we're gonna try it. And of course, Bryce Canyon, South, and Blackstock North. So, excuse me. So that's my report.
Just want to remind everybody that there's one more day left of the trolley tours in the city of Oxnard, and the gingerbread houses are on display. And that's it for me. Yep.
All right, thank you. Chris, anything? Excuse me. Okay, then we are going to move on to future agenda items.
Good evening, Ronald Arwejo, East Village Neighborhood Council. As you may or may not be aware, the INCO hosted a City Council Candidates Forum in October. I am a little bit biased because I was the moderator for that event. And so if this question is kind of directed to the current membership and the future board, since no action can be taken right now, if there is no strong objection, I think that the previous committee, the other member being Mr. Len Schulman, if we could start some administrative and preparation work in advance of a possible approval of a date to be determined probably in February at our January meeting. So I would just like to see if there's any strong objection to at least us preparing for the possibility of a city council candidates forum. Barring no objection, I think that some members would like to be added to the committee if they would like, or if there's any further direction from the future chair, I think that would be great. And I would be prepared to make a presentation at our next meeting also. So if I don't hear a strong objection, I'll go with an approval with that. Thank you very much.
No, we're discussing what to add to the agenda for. So I believe that was previously mentioned. We will pick that up at the next meeting.
Yes, it was under discussion with the e-board earlier, and that it has to be placed on the agenda before. And
I got it. It would be unofficial. I just would like to start.
No, it will be, I believe we talked about adding it to the January agenda.
Okay. Well then, if no work can be done, then I won't do any work until then. So hopefully that will be enough time. So thank you very much.
John Haig, Bryce County North. I think Ronald just said what I was going to say. I'm in District 6. There's some other people here in District 6 as well. Yes. Okay, one person. All right. Two people. Okay, great. Okay.
Okay, we're getting better now. Anyway, there's a city council election, everybody knows that. And yeah, let's have a candidate forum. Let's do it in February. Let's put it on the agenda. I would like to see it in the South Oxnard Library. And let's make some really good sized posters so we can give them to the businesses in the area and tell them to post this stuff because it's your civic duty. You're a business person, well, you know, whatever. But, and sign me up for help. I'll do it.
Okay, great, thank you.
With regards to the District 6 special election that's coming up, I would like to basically see if nobody has any like connections with any of the candidates to be on the thing on the board, because the fact is, so it doesn't show any bias towards any candidates. Thank you.
I'd like to see an agenda item for the Fisherman's Wharf renovation, and possibly getting, like, we have a new harbor commissioner, and so there were some issues before with the RFPs and how that was handled, and I think the new harbor commissioner has been really open to that dialogue and discussion with the community. And then we've got the Board of Supervisors, and our representative there is Vianney Lopez, who was on our city council. And so I think that's a real important issue for Oxnard, even though that the RFP process and all that's handed through the county. I think there's a lot of impacts on Oxnard and the residents of Oxnard. So I'd like to see that as possible future agenda item. Thank you.
Hi, Amanda Meir with Wagon Wheel. I would like to see potentially even a standing item of, or even the next meeting, an agenda item for report from the city manager on the fiscal report of the city, so we know what we're getting into in this next calendar year, as well as potentially, I know our individual councils get updates on our beat reports, but potentially having like a larger report on what they anticipate to see any new policy changes with Oxnard PD and Oxnard Fire. I'd like to start seeing that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Carlos Quiroz, Redwood. I would like to see Mr. City Treasurer, if we could have him out here and give a presentation, please. Been trying for a couple of times out there, and just want to hear from him. Thank you.
A presentation on what? The budget from the city attorney?
Trent.
Oh, you want Steve Fisher speaking on Phil Molina?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, anybody else? No? Okay, so the topic, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I wanted to speak off a topic. I just wanted to go back, if I could, on the executive board report. So I have some a little extra. I just want to thank the outgoing chairs and their participation this past year, and the new coming chairs. Welcome them back to the executive board. I know 3 of them will be brand new, and so our activation of neighborhood councils created 3 new vice chairs. And so John Paul and Amanda and Chris, they're all new neighborhood chairs. And so I welcome them, and we're looking forward to working with them in 2023. Thank you. That's it.
Everything that Jack just said. Welcome, everybody.
Okay, then just to be clear, it will be on the agenda For January, the establishment of a committee for the candidates for District 6. Most likely it will happen probably early February. So we'll get that together and put that out. Okay. Anything else? No? Okay, then we are going to go ahead and adjourn at 8:30. Thank you. Have a good night.